Hey, where are you on this agenda?
Um, right after the page that you don't have.
Sorry, right after what?
The page you don't have.
We're about to recess the meeting and pass the in-camera motions. Some of us will have to excuse ourselves for 10.1. And before we consider the in-camera motions, uh, Councillor Carlson has requested that there be an update
Yeah,
on the
thank you.
BCCs.
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Perhaps, yeah, this could be filed under council updates. um, Councillor Campbell, Kaufman, and I, for the last 3 years and a bit, have been part of the Performing Arts Center steering committee. When we disbanded, or not disbanded, but removed councillors from that committee, it left them with only 2 members um, on the committee, which does not give them enough for quorum. So I'm once again, I sound like a broken record. I thought most of my committees would be glad to see me depart. Unfortunately, we have about, Mark, help me out here, about a month or so left of work before that committee finalizes. They're concerned that trying to bring in new committee members to fill our spots and bring them up to speed will take longer than a month and not uh, enable them to meet their commitment to council to have some information back before CIP. So they have asked that we stay on that ad hoc committee for Mark, what was it, till the end of
I think
March?
it was March, end of March. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, where the work will be wrapped up. So I'm asking my colleagues what they'd like us to do. I know that Councillor Campbell and myself have agreed that if council lets us, that we are okay with staying for what would amount to another 2 meetings over the course of about 6 weeks to wrap things up and just facilitate that process for them. That's my apology, Councillor Kaufman. I should have checked in with you over the weekend, but I know that Councillor Campbell and I did say that we would be willing so that they could meet quorum. I just want to know if council is okay with us staying on for another 6 weeks or so.
Okay, Councillor Parker?
Thank you, and thank you, Councillor Carlson, for putting the context of the background behind of why you were making your request. And obviously, it's because of a lack of quorum, and not in that you're only going to have 2 people if we follow through with this. And so you're just asking for your presence, all 3 of you, to still stay on there until everyone kind of gets coordinated, everything goes good, and that would be to a maximum of the end of March.
We hope so. The plan is to have some reports and information to council for CIP, and that needs to be wrapped up. It actually should have been wrapped up by now, but we're just slogging through it. And yes, to replace the 3 of us would put them way behind schedule. So that's the request. It is an ad hoc committee that has an end date already, and we're just asking your permission to stay on.
And I see, yeah, and I appreciate that. And the logic, I think the logic makes sense, and I trust your judgment on this. And so I'm okay with that. And I don't think it sets a precedent with other committees since this is an ad hoc. And so I can work with that. I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Does anyone object?
Mr. Mayor, it's Joe.
Go ahead.
I'm a little disappointed that this is happening because we should have known this before we created all these and changed the committee structure. So I have a question or a comment. Why wouldn't all of these committees that for some reason won't have quorum or are requesting that a member of council stay on, why wouldn't we just have them report to the SPC that they should be reporting to? Like, why do we need to continue having these committees? Quite frankly, I don't like it. We should have thought of this sooner. So why wouldn't we not allow this to happen anymore? We're done, and the 2 people make a presentation, whatever they have to do, to the SPC, the appropriate SPC committee.
Thanks, Councilor Morrow, and I agree. I had to do a bit of a mea culpa in the last committee meeting for performing arts because they asked the same question. Why didn't you guys think of this when you made the changes to all these committees? And I think it was a bit of a gap we missed, that removing 3 of the 5 members of a committee would basically make that committee unable to function. And so I did a mea culpa that I missed it as part of open and effective government and as council. So here was a way to rectify that and allow them to complete their work. The problem is they can't complete their work with only 2 members of the committee. They don't have quorum, so they can't move anything
So
forward.
on this committee is 2 members, 2 citizens, and
Yep.
how many members of council?
3.
Okay, and so it's you, Campbell, and Kaufman. I think you said.
Yep.
Are you guys not on an SPC committee together, the 3 of you?
Possibly. We've only definitely economic.
So couldn't you just transfer your ad hoc committee to the appropriate SPC committee?
It still
That way
reports.
it's done.
Thanks, Councillor Moore. It does still report to an SPC. The problem is the committee itself doesn't have the ability to function. Does that make sense? It would be like if suddenly we removed 5 members of council. If we all left the building, council can't function. Right? It doesn't. They do report to an SPC. I think it's is it the cultural and social, or is it civic works? I can't recall. But
Okay, so I understand what you're saying, but to speed things up, so my final question is, why can't these committees that seem to, as you say, can't function? Why don't we change the terms of reference?
Yeah, and that is
Just
the
do
other
that.
and thanks, Councillor Moore. That is the other option, is to change the terms of reference. The problem is it doesn't help to appoint 3 new members to that committee that haven't been there for 3 years doing the work. Councillors Campbell, Kaufman, and myself are up to speed. It's basically just a request to get the work done that council wants, and with us gone, that may not happen.
Well, I like the terms of reference change, but that's just me. Thank you.
Councillor Croson?
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Thank you, Councillor Carlson, for bringing this up to us. As I mentioned earlier in the coal mining debate, even though we do our due diligence and we try to make sure that decisions are made well at the beginning, sometimes things just don't work out. I know we're looking at the procedure bylaw, and as we change the SPC and as we change this, it's trying to figure out chicken and the egg, which goes first, where do things fit in? And so we changed the entire governance structure. We have. It's been a major change, and there's a lot of things going on. So I'm not at all surprised that as we sat there and tried to work our way through it, that there were some things that were missed. So I can understand where this is coming from. But my question is to the city clerk. Is there anything prohibiting us that we have done already that would stop us from just agreeing to keeping 3 members on this ad hoc committee at this time?
Councillor Croson, there was a motion made at the organizational meeting November 2nd that directed to remove those councillors off the specific committees. So it would probably have to be a reconsideration to put them back on.
Thank
so
you.
Whether we have terms of reference change or a reconsideration, there still has to be a motion.
Yes.
If whichever we choose to move forward.
Correct.
Thank you.
Acting Mayor Hagan?
Thank you. The question I have is just through the sustainability of this all, and I understand that it was timing as far as who's on this particular committee, and obviously we didn't do it in the months and months and months of notice that we had that we were going to be changing this. So if there's a change in that particular board structure of that committee, and so I'm talking council, if we were still on without having the SPCs, is it your understanding that if these particular people let off and there were other councillors on there, that this could not be sustainable? Like, is it just those people, like you, the three of you, is the importance of staying on there to make this sustainable, this organization?
Thanks, Councillor or Acting Mayor Hagan. It's not about really any sustainability. The committee is only functioning for a very brief time. I keep thinking 6 weeks, and then it's done. Their work is completed. So it's not about an ongoing commitment. And the fact that Councillors Campbell, Kaufman, and myself are up to speed. We have the knowledge of the last 3 years to help finish this is kind of important to the committee.
And just to be sure, the other two that are on there are up to speed as well, correct?
Yes, one of the other factors is we did have one committee member leave late last year, changed employment, and so couldn't continue on. So we've already had to bring up a new member up in very short time. And to bring 3 more members up would make it very difficult to get the information to council that council asked us to bring.
Okay, so what a terms of reference change would actually give those people that are now up to speed, you say, the ability to bring that forward, is what I understand?
Yeah, if the 3 of us were added to the term of reference for the next 6 weeks, 2 months, it would finish the work of the committee.
So I'm thinking more of if the terms of reference were changed so that those that are on there, the other 2, are they up to speed?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so the other 2 on there could actually carry this forward, is what you're saying, without the 3 of you, as long as the terms of reference were changed where 2 people were allowed to carry this forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could happen. It's kind of cumbersome having 2 people constitute the entire voting membership of a committee. You can understand the challenges that would make.
Yeah, and coming to a stand-in policy committee maybe could help some of that too, but thank you for that.
Yeah.
Any further questions? Councillor
Yes,
Morrow?
Joe. So I'd like to follow up on what our city clerk indicated. So this was, we've passed a resolution. We can't just, it's a resolution of council that was passed, approved. We have to go back to a council meeting then to change that, don't we?
Yes.
So that means another 2 weeks before the next meeting. Correct?
We're in a council now.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, okay. So you're saying to bring it forward today?
It would be best if we could bring it forward today, if that was possible. But if council's amenable and wants to wait, we could do that as well.
Thank you.
Okay, anything further?
Just a question through you, your worship, if I can, to the city clerk. If council was amenable to us amending the TOR today, is that possible?
Yes, it is possible. We do recommend that the terms of reference be in front of council, but if you give us a minute, we could probably bring them up and show council what clause that you'd be amending. Yes, it is possible.
Thank you. I think
Acting Mayor
Mr.
Hagan?
Westerson is prepared for that.
So in waiting 2 weeks, is this that time sensitive that we would need to get it done today, or is 2 weeks going to make all the difference if we didn't do this for 2 weeks?
Only that there is work ongoing. We're in the middle of finalizing some details. I guess councillors Campbell, Kaufman, and I could attend as non-voting members, interested members of the public at their invitation.
Okay, that's
Good. Deputy Mayor Miyashiro?
Can we not just extend their membership for 2 months and then come back with
The city clerk said
resolution
no.
to change it.
We passed a motion. We'd have to rescind the motion and then deal with this. So if it can be dealt with expeditiously, if these council members can sit in as citizens of interest and we can get a motion at the next meeting, that would seem to be the best process.
So we can't override the terms of reference temporarily to accommodate a lack of quorum in a committee. Is that what
That's
you're
what
saying?
You,
we can reconsider the
committees.
motion, right? So do you want to do all that?
Never mind.
Is if it's onerous, through you, your worship, to the city clerk, if it's onerous, geez, it's been a long meeting. If it's onerous at this juncture, we could bring it in 2 weeks, but if it's a simple motion to amend the terms of reference by adding the 3 councillors, and to be fair, I haven't asked Councillor Kaufman if he'd be willing. But if it's a quick, easy vote and council is amenable, that would be the best option. If not, we'll bring it back in 2 weeks.
Councillor Carlson, Mr. Western has made me aware that he has the terms of reference ready to go, so it could be a vote today, if that's what council desires.
Mr. Mayor, as this is something I've never done before on the fly, I would be willing to make the motion that the terms of reference be amended as presented.
Okay, so the city clerk has said that if council's willing and it requires a 2/3 vote in favor. So the request has been made, all in favor of considering this today. Any opposed?
Yeah, Joe,
Okay, we'll do a roll call. We'll do a roll call on whether we'll consider it today.
Councillor Morrow.
opposed?
Councillor Parker.
In favor.
Councillor Hagan.
Favor.
Acting Mayor Hagan, I'm sorry.
In favor, thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your vote. Opposed? And Councillor Parker, I'm sorry?
In favor.
In favor. Sorry. Deputy Mayor Miyashiro.
In favor.
Mayor Spearman.
Opposed?
Councillor Campbell.
In favor?
Councillor Carlson.
In favor.
Councillor Kaufman.
In favor?
Councillor Croson.
in favor.
Carries 6-3.
Okay, we'll consider it today. It has the 2/3 support, so we have a resolution ready to go. Or do we have to rescind the motion from November?
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go, is to rescind the November 2nd organizational meeting decision to remove the 3 councillors from the Performing Arts Committee.
Okay, all in favor? Is anyone opposed?
Joe,
Okay. So we'll do okay. Okay, the motion is to remove, to rescind.
Rescind the November 2nd organizational meeting motion to remove the 3 councillors off the Performing Arts Committee.
Okay, we'll do a roll call.
Councillor Parker.
In favor.
Acting Mayor Hagan.
Opposed?
Deputy Mayor Miyashiro.
In favor.
Mayor Spearman.
In favor?
Councillor Campbell.
In favor?
Councillor Carlson.
In favor.
Councillor Kaufman.
In favor?
Councillor Croson.
In favor.
Councillor Morrow.
opposed?
That carries 7-2.
Okay.
Thank you all. Sorry about that last minute work.
Okay, and is there another motion needed?
Just the in-camera motions, that's it.
Okay, now we'll just do the in-camera motions.
Your worship, I recommend we do 10-2, 10-3, and then go back to 10-1 because there are some councillor members that had to recuse themselves.
Okay, so we're going to do 10-2 and 10-3, and then councillors who were in conflict on 10-1 will leave. Okay, 10-2 from Councillor Carlson. Be it resolved that council direct that the closed meeting discussions, reports, documents with respect to the land matter remain confidential pursuant to section 16, harmful to business interests of a third party, 21, harmful to intergovernmental relations, 23, local public body confidences, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And further be it resolved that council direct the city manager to proceed with the confidential direction provided. Councillor Carlson?
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Unless there's any further debate, I'll call for the vote.
Okay, any debate? Deputy Mayor Miyashiro?
No, sorry. And then,
Okay, there's no debate. Council question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? There's none. Okay, 10.3. Be it resolved that council direct that the closed meeting discussions with respect to legal advice remain confidential pursuant to section 27, privilege-legal of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. That looks like it's moved by me, seconded by Deputy Mayor Miyashiro. All in favor? Any opposed? There's none. Okay, so councillors, myself and Councillor Parker and Councillor Higgin will be leaving, and Councillor Kaufman will be leaving. I'll ask Deputy Mayor Miyashiro to handle the motion to adjourn.
you.
No, if we don't have quorum, they just have to hang around. We'll just go.
See, there's your stick handling, Chris. I like it.
Yes, no one's computer freeze or we're stuck here.
Chris has to do the post-game show too.
In the hot stove.
Yeah.
Do we have a mover for this?
Um,
I can't see the top.
You.
I can't move it because I'm actually in the chair right now.
okay, I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Mayor Spearman just has not left yet.
Come on, Mayor Spearman.
My screen won't work.
Well, you don't need your screen.
Okay.
There's a door right behind you. Give me a yo. Is he still there?
No, he's gone. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. All right, I have a motion coming out of me in camera, but from Councillor Carlson. Legal update, item 10.1. Whereas City Council received a complaint, and whereas City Council desires to consider all complaints with respect, and whereas Council's jurisdiction is defined by law, and whereas Council has received specific legal advice with respect to their jurisdiction, therefore be it resolved that City Council declines to investigate and will advise the complainant in writing, and further be it resolved that Council direct that the closed meeting discussions, reports, and documents with respect to legal update remain confidential pursuant to Section 27, Privilege Legal of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I believe the resolution speaks for itself, and I will call for the vote.
Any opposed?
Yes, Joe. Yes, I oppose. Joe.
Okay, thank you. Then that passes 4-1. Thank you.
And just the motion to adjourn. Maybe I'll call them back first.
We don't need to call him back, do we?
just to annoy them.
This is moved by Councillor Parker, that we now adjourn the regular meeting of City Council until Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021. Any opposed?
I think that
Any
should be,
opposed? They have to stay all night.
no, it should be Councillor Campbell, because I don't think Councillor Parker's in the room.
Call for the vote.
They're coming.
Great.
Oh,
They're
they
coming.
are
Just
coming.
wait,
Any
just wait.
opposed?
We have to wait till the mover is in the room.
He's there now. I just saw him sit down.
Okay.
And I heard him say call for the vote.
I call the question, is this the
opposed?
motion to adjourn? Yes.
Okay, I have a resolution from Councillor Parker
We already did this, Mayor Spearman.
that we now adjourn. Well, you didn't have
The
quorum.
clerk was not in the chair,
for
so
the
it didn't
vote.
count.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
yeah.
Okay,
So we
I'm
do
done.
now
Bye.
adjourn the regular
Bye.
meeting of City
I'm done.
Council until Tuesday, February the 23rd, 2021. Councillor Parker,
Question.
question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? There's none.
I'm opposed to foolishness.
Well,
See you all on,
Hot stove
see you
is
all
next.
Wednesday.
with 5 of us declaring conflict, you would still be in the meeting.